Hey guys, we just wanted to kind of check in and let everyone know what's been going on, and thank you to everyone who's reached out. I wanted to update, and Susan's here with me because unfortunately a lot of this week in the beginning I don't remember because unfortunately after chemo on Friday, I had to come to the James. Initially, they were thinking I needed a thoracentesis, which is where they take some fluid from a pleural effusion, which is fluid in the pleural space under the lung. And when I got here, I really was starting to get bad. And my color had changed to the point where there was a nurse in the ED that had walked by me when I was sitting with my mom, and I had just changed color and I wasn't looking good, and they decided to take me right back. And they did some testing and blood work, and they found that my CO2 was extremely high in my lungs, to the point where some people would have already been dead, and I was in acidosis. So my body was acidic, and I really could have died. I was very close to death. Most people live in a range of like 35 to 52, I think it was, with CO2 in their blood. So mine at the time was close to, like, was it 95 or 98?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the mid to high 90s. And the only way that I was going to survive is by ventilation. So they put me on a type of ventilation that was a little less invasive than a total ventilation, but I was going through some sedation at the time because I really needed to be on it, and I was fighting the ventilation because you have to breathe a certain way on this ventilator, and I just wasn't. I wasn't used to breathing that way, and it was very hard to breathe. And everyone around me was saying, you have to do this, you have to do this. And I'm like, I can't breathe, I can't do this. And they were saying, you have to. And I don't remember a lot of the first 3 days. They were kind of, keeping me mildly sedated and wearing this mask to ventilate me. And then I was coming off of it they were trying to make me eat, and then they would put it back on me, and it was another fight. So I had to have someone with me 24/7. Initially, my mom was here, but she had to go back to work. So that's where Susan kind of comes in, and she's gonna tell you how she got here. But she's been with me all week, and this whole thing started last Friday, and now it's the Sunday after that. So it's been a week and 2 days that I've been going through this and been in the ICU. I am in step-down ICU now at the James, but I've been in the ICU this whole time, and I'm gonna let her talk.
So last time I had talked to Tori, we basically talk every day. And the last time we had a conversation on the phone was that Monday prior to her landing in the hospital. And she wasn't feeling good that night, so I gave her a couple of days before I started pestering her. And she didn't answer me on Wednesday. She didn't answer me on Thursday.
I just wasn't feeling good.
And on Friday, I sent another message, and I could tell her phone was off with the way the message showed up once I sent it. So I knew something was really, really wrong. So Saturday morning, I had just had it. I needed to know what was going on. I was terrified because she hadn't felt good. And I called the James, where she normally comes when there's a problem.
And she's on my list, just in case anybody has a HIPAA question. So
I wasn't violating HIPAA.
She's allowed to call.
So I figured if I called and just said I wanted to find out how a patient was doing, it was either going to be, okay, well, here's the deal, or, well, we don't have anyone here, in which case I could relax. Unfortunately, they said, well, here, we're going to put you up to her room and have you talk to her nurse. So I knew at that point that things weren't good. I didn't have any information at that point. The nurse was going to call me back. In the meantime, waiting for the phone call, I had told my husband what was going on, and he's like, you tell me when to leave and we'll leave and we'll go. Later that night, I finally heard from Tori, and her response to me was, you need to come now.
I didn't think I was going to make it. I didn't know if I was going to make it through the night. And the thought of not seeing her again was too much. We've been through a lot together. And there's been multiple times this week that I didn't think I was going to leave here. Sorry.
Okay. So, late Sunday night, early Monday morning, I jumped in the car, and my husband drove me to the James. Got here, it's really early, like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I finally got in to see her like mid-morning, and she was really out of it. She wasn't on the vent anymore, but, oxygen high number, and just was very tired and sleepy, didn't really have a lot of energy to stay awake. So the next morning, they came in and they did a thora on her lung, and I posted something on Instagram showing, so if you go to my Instagram, you can see the photo of how much fluid they took out, and they literally had like that much more that they could have pulled.
It was about a liter.
So
I think a pop bottle.
Once they did that,
Hold this a second. Sorry.
Tori slowly started to come back around. Slowly started to feel a little bit better, and was more awake. But that Tuesday morning, I should go back. That Tuesday morning, when the nurses come in to wake her up.
The day after the thora.
No, it was the day before.
It was the day before?
No, it was the day of. That Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
So before she had the thora and the nurse came in to wake her up because she's got to have meds and vitals and all of that. Had a really, really hard time waking her up. I was trying, the nurse was trying, they're doing the whole rubbing on her chest. And her nurse looked at me, and I looked at the nurse, and I'm like, she was worried. She had taken the mask off of Tori, which makes a lot of noise when you take it off. A whistling sound, normally if you're asleep, that would wake you up. She finally came around. But then after they did the thora a couple hours later, she slowly started to feel better and better. Yeah, I mean, if they hadn't have done the thora, I don't know if she would still be here. I think it was because of that, and listening to the doctors, listening to Tori, and
these doctors here, I mean, when I talk about the James to people and talk about the staff here and the nurses and the doctors and how they really go out of the way to really, push for their patients. And, I have a type of DNR that's like an extended DNR, so they can do basically everything but chest compressions. And, you know, my nurses were even telling me, the nurse that was with Susan that day on Tuesday that was trying to wake me up, and they were having a hard time waking me up, she told me, she's like, when I left my shift, I didn't know if you would still be with us when I came back for my next shift a couple days later. And when I say they had a hard time getting me up, like, the nurse was scared. And she told me last night, we had her again last night, she shared with us, like, how scared she actually was. And it's really, you know, by, you know, the research that's been done here and being done at the James and being done all over, that's, you know, science has kept up with my disease yet again, and, you know, the knowledge that they've gotten. And I really feel like there's a lot of strength in the support and prayer that, you know, we've received, you know, from this week. But also, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the science. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the research. And, you know, it means so much that, you know, the Soul Love Research Institute is right here. And I literally went from people not knowing if I was going to be going home, and me not knowing, really, I did not anticipate coming home, to I'm going to be discharged tomorrow from the ICU.
And she's wearing
So,
makeup.
And I'm wearing my makeup again. Y'all know if I'm not, you know, wearing at least some lipstick or chapstick, you know, it's not a good day in Toryland. But no, I can't say enough for all of my doctors and my nurses and my team that have pushed so hard to not only keep me on this side of life, but oh my goodness, I mean, I really, honestly, even with everything, I told Susan, I haven't felt this good in a long time, like maybe a year. And I'm very lucky, I'm very blessed, and just wanted to kind of share this update with you. And yeah, I'll be going home tomorrow and just keep going from there. And
Not today, Satan.
not today or
Tomorrow.
tomorrow
Or next week. Or the week after.
or anytime soon.
Yeah.
I have plans to live for a long time. And yeah. But I have to thank Susan so much for coming. She came from New York, you guys, to take care of me, and she's been here with me.
5 hours.
Yeah, 5 hours. But she's been here with me every minute of every day for the last week. She has not left my side. And that's what family is. Like, it's beyond friendship. This is what family is. And I'm so lucky to have her, and I love her so much.
It's more than just having someone's back on social media.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
would move mountains for this girl. Mountains.
Likewise. So, thank you guys for watching, and we're gonna head off, and we'll see you soon. Bye.